Hello, and a very warm welcome back. It's always a pleasure to sit with you for these reflections. Today, we're doing something a little different, looking back through the unique lens that only decades of lived experience can provide. Imagine, for a moment, having a conversation with your younger self. What hard-won insights, what gentle truths learned along the way would you most want to impart? As we pass the milestone of 70 and look back over the landscape of our lives, certain patterns and understandings often crystallize with remarkable clarity. It's not necessarily about dwelling on regrets, though a touch of wistfulness might be natural, but more about recognizing the profound value of perspectives gained over time. Perspectives that, if grasped a bit earlier, might have smoothed some paths, eased some anxieties, or perhaps deepened joy along the journey. So, I want to share 6 things that, looking back from this vantage point, I wish I had truly, deeply understood sooner. These aren't criticisms of youth's necessary process of learning, but rather pearls of wisdom polished by time, offered now in the spirit of helpful reflection for anyone at any age. Let's begin with something utterly fundamental to our experience, yet often taken for granted until challenged. 1. The true nature of health is cumulative and holistic. Of course, as younger people, we know health is important. We hear the advice about diet and exercise. But did I truly understand, deep down, how profoundly cumulative, seemingly small health habits are over decades? I'm not sure I did. There's a tendency in youth to think we can make up for it later. Burn the candle at both ends. Neglect sleep, eat poorly, put off exercise. Assuming our resilience is infinite, we might focus on treating illnesses after they arise, rather than diligently building a foundation of well-being day by day. What I wish I'd grasped sooner is the immense power of consistency over intensity. Applied across the whole spectrum of health, it's not just about avoiding major disease. It's about the daily habits that contribute to overall vitality and prevent the slow erosion of well-being. Movement, truly understanding that consistent, moderate movement, like daily walking, woven into life, is far more beneficial long-term than occasional, strenuous bursts followed by long periods of inactivity. It's about maintaining mobility and function daily. Nutrition. Recognizing food not just as fuel or pleasure, but as information for ourselves, and how consistently choosing whole, nourishing foods profoundly impacts energy, inflammation, and long-term health, far beyond just weight management. Stress. Deeply understanding that chronic, unmanaged stress isn't just a mental burden, but takes a heavy physical toll over decades, impacting everything from heart health to immunity. Learning and practicing simple stress reduction techniques early is a vital investment. Sleep. Appreciating restorative sleep not as a luxury or inconvenience, but as a non-negotiable biological necessity for physical repair, mental clarity, and emotional regulation, and prioritizing it accordingly. If I could whisper to my younger self, I'd say, treat your health not as a given, but as a precious garden, requiring daily, gentle tending in all areas, body, mind, and spirit. The small, consistent efforts you make today will compound into profound vitality decades from now. The next insight relates to the very fabric of our social lives. Relationship energy is best spent on depth, not just breadth or drama. Life, especially when younger, can feel like a whirlwind of social activity. We navigate friendships, romances, family dynamics, workplace relationships. There can be a focus on popularity, large social circles, or sometimes getting caught up in interpersonal drama, misunderstandings, or perceived slights. Energy gets spent managing numerous, sometimes superficial, connections, or trying to fix difficult relationships. Looking back from 70 plus, the clarity emerges. The quality of our core relationships provides far more enduring happiness and support than the quantity of connections or the intensity of relational drama. While having a broad network has its place, the true bedrock of emotional well-being lies in nurturing a few deep, authentic, mutually supportive relationships where you can be truly yourself. I wish I'd understood sooner the immense value of prioritizing presence, truly being attentive and listening fully when with loved ones, rather than being distracted by work, worries, or devices. These moments of genuine connection are precious and cumulative. Practicing forgiveness sooner, realizing that holding on to grudges or resentments poisons us far more than the other person, and learning to forgive both others and ourselves frees up enormous emotional energy for positive connection. Choosing battles wisely, understanding that not every disagreement requires conflict or needs to be won. Letting go of the small stuff preserves harmony and focuses energy on what truly matters in the relationship. Expressing appreciation, not assuming loved ones know how much they mean, but actively telling and showing them regularly. These affirmations strengthen bonds in profound ways. The energy spent navigating complex social dynamics or maintaining numerous shallow ties could perhaps have been more wisely invested in deepening the bonds with those few people who form our true inner circle. Invest your relational energy where it yields the most warmth and authenticity. I'd tell my younger self. Seek depth, nurture trust, and let go of unnecessary conflict. The third area involves how we present ourselves to the world. 3. The enormous freedom in releasing the need for external approval. So much of our younger lives can be governed, consciously or unconsciously, by seeking validation from others. We worry about fitting in, about what people think of our appearance, our choices, our homes, our careers. We might make decisions based on impressing others or avoiding criticism, rather than on what aligns with our own genuine values and desires. This constant monitoring of external opinion is an exhausting and often unfulfilling way to live. One of the most liberating realizations that often crystallizes with age is just how little other people's opinions truly matter in the grand scheme of our own happiness and self-worth, and how fleeting and subjective those opinions often are anyway. The approval we most need is our own. I wish I'd grasped the depth of this truth earlier. Authenticity is key. Understanding that the peace that comes from living in alignment with your own values and expressing your true self kindly, of course, is far more satisfying than the temporary high of external approval gained through pretense. Most people aren't thinking about you, realizing that most people are primarily occupied with their own lives and worries, and aren't scrutinizing our choices nearly as much as we imagine. You can't please everyone. Accepting the impossibility of pleasing everyone and giving ourselves permission to make choices that are right for us, even if some disapprove. Self-acceptance is the goal. Learning to cultivate self-compassion, embrace our imperfections, and develop an internal sense of worth independent of external accolades or criticism. Spend less energy worrying about the audience and more energy tuning into your own inner compass. I would advise, the freedom that comes from releasing that need for external validation is immense. Trust yourself more. These first 3 insights alone, about cumulative health, relationship depth, and internal validation, offer powerful guidance learned through the passage of time. These first 3 insights: understanding the cumulative nature of health, prioritizing relationship depth, and finding freedom by releasing the need for external approval, offer powerful guidance learned over decades. But the reflections don't stop there. The fourth understanding involves our relationship with material things. 4. True wealth resides more in experiences and relationships than possessions. Our society heavily promotes the idea that happiness and success are tied to acquiring material wealth and possessions. Buy the bigger house, the newer car, the latest gadgets, the fashionable clothes, while possessions can provide comfort, convenience, or temporary pleasure. There's often an underlying assumption that more stuff equals more happiness. Looking back from the vantage point of 70 plus, having witnessed countless cycles of acquiring and discarding, and seeing what truly sustains joy over the long haul, a different perspective emerges. Experiences and meaningful relationships consistently provide far deeper, more lasting fulfillment than material possessions ever do. One wish I had fully internalized this earlier, perhaps resisting some societal pressures. Prioritizing experiences. Understanding that the memories created through travel, even simple trips, learning new skills, attending events, spending quality time in nature, or simply engaging fully in meaningful activities often provide joy that lasts far longer than the thrill of a new purchase. Investing in relationships, recognizing that allocating resources, time, energy, and yes, sometimes money, towards nurturing connections with loved ones, yields dividends in happiness and support that material wealth cannot replicate. Shared moments become cherished treasures. Appreciating enough, cultivating contentment with what one has, rather than constantly striving for more. Learning to distinguish between genuine needs or valuating comforts and the endless pursuit of status symbols or fleeting desires. Understanding diminishing returns. Realizing that beyond a certain point of basic comfort and security, additional possessions often bring more burden, maintenance, clutter, worry, than genuine joy. Focus less on accumulating things and more on accumulating memories, skills, and moments of connection. I'd tell my younger self. True wealth is measured in the richness of your life experience and the quality of your relationships, not the size of your bank account or the number of things you own. The fifth insight involves our perception of life's difficulties. 5. Failures and hardships are often life's most potent teachers. When we are younger, experiencing failure, whether in academics, career, relationships, or personal goals, can feel devastating. We might view it as a reflection of our inadequacy, something to be ashamed of, hidden, or desperately avoided. Similarly, facing hardship, illness, loss, financial struggles can feel overwhelming, unfair, and purely negative. With the perspective of decades, however, a different understanding often dawns. While pain and disappointment are real, many of the most challenging experiences, the perceived failures and unavoidable hardships, are precisely the events that forged resilience, taught invaluable lessons, clarified priorities, cultivated compassion, and ultimately led to significant personal growth. I wish I had truly understood sooner that setbacks are part of the path. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's often an integral part of the learning process. Viewing setbacks not as final verdicts, but as opportunities to learn, adapt, and try again, builds resilience. Strength is forged in difficulty, just as muscles grow stronger through resistance. Character and inner strength are often developed most profoundly when navigating challenging times. We discover reserves we never knew we had. Hardship clarifies values. Facing loss or significant challenges often strips away the superficial and forces us to confront what truly matters most, leading to greater clarity and purpose moving forward. Shared vulnerability builds connection. Owning our struggles and failures, rather than hiding them in shame, allows for deeper, more authentic connections with others who inevitably face their own challenges. Don't fear failure quite so much, and don't despair in hardship. I would advise, look for the lessons hidden within the challenges. Embrace the growth that often comes disguised as difficulty. These experiences, though painful at the time, will ultimately make you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. And finally, perhaps the simplest yet most profound understanding. 6. The profound power residing in the ordinary present moment. So much of life, especially when busy and striving, is spent not fully present. We mentally rehash the past or anxiously plan and worry about the future. We rush through daily tasks, meals, conversations, our minds elsewhere. We live in anticipation of the next big thing. The vacation, the promotion, the weekend, assuming happiness resides there, in the future. One of the most potent gifts of accumulated time is the potential realization, often learned slowly, that life is lived entirely in the succession of present moments, and that immense peace and quiet joy are available right here, right now, within the seemingly ordinary, if only we pay attention. I wish I had grasped the depth of this truth far earlier. Presence is where life happens. Understanding that the past is memory and the future is projection. The only time we are actually alive, experiencing, choosing, feeling, is now. Small joys abound. Cultivating the ability to notice and savor the simple pleasures. Readily available. The warmth of sunlight, the taste of food, the sound of birdsong, a moment of quiet, a kind interaction. These small joys form the fabric of a contented life. Mindfulness reduces suffering. Learning to simply be with present experience. Even uncomfortable sensations or emotions, without adding layers of mental resistance or judgment, significantly reduces inner turmoil. Worry robs today. Truly internalizing that excessive worry about the future rarely prevents problems but consistently steals peace and enjoyment from the present moment. Slow down more often, I'd tell my younger self. Pay attention, breathe, notice the small wonders. Life isn't just about the destinations. The real richness is found in fully inhabiting the journey, one ordinary, precious moment at a time. Don't miss it by constantly living elsewhere in your head. Conclusion: integrating wisdom into the now. Looking back from the perspective of 70 or beyond offers this kind of clarity. Wishing we'd truly understood the cumulative nature of health, the primacy of relationship depth, the freedom from needing external approval, the true value of experiences over possessions, the teaching power of hardship, and the profound peace available in the present moment. But the beauty is, these understandings aren't just for nostalgic reflection, they are living wisdom, applicable now, regardless of our age. It's never too late to prioritize health habits, deepen connections, cultivate self-acceptance, favor experiences, learn from challenges, and practice presence. Embracing these insights today can enrich the chapters still unfolding. What insights have become clearer to you with time? What do you wish your younger self had understood sooner? Your reflections add so much value. Please share them in the comments below. If this conversation sparked some thoughtful reflection, please give the video a like and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom for more explorations drawn from lived experience. Sharing this video might offer a valuable perspective to someone at any stage of life's journey. Thank you for being here today, for reflecting with me. May we all continue to learn, grow, and integrate wisdom into our lives, day by day. Until next time, be well.